Yeah, another 30 city tour, knocking them down. I'll be right back though. You know what it is. 2D is called, I'm leaving you once more. I will be back, right back when I'm off on the tour. The tour is raw, duty is called for the raw, and the raw one is me. It's me, you see. All of them told me, Chris, you're too old me. When they step to the mic, none of them can hold me. Rhymes never running out, you know what KRS about. I'm all up in the game like Jordan with his tongue is out. The streets is mine, these youngins must be bugging out. You don't see no stars when the sun is out, I'm coming out. Who you think the sun round here? All that soft thug pop shit, no, but don't get done round here. I'm only making my uniqueness crystal clear. So your head, I don't have to put a missile there. I do preach peace though, I am hip-hop. But when the Glock pops, your brain goes into a drop box. I keep the crowd jumping like hopscotch in the party. I'm the dopest MC and I'm dressed like anybody. I show up on a bike, unshaven, naughty. Battle a platinum rapper and take his Bugatti. Sell it in the hood, provide for everybody. Next week another rapper giving up a Ferrari. Duty is called, I'm leaving you once more. I will be back, right back when I'm off on the tour. The tour is raw, duty is called for the raw, and the raw one is me. It's me, you see. All of them told me, Chris, you're too old me. When they step to the mic, none of them can hold me. What they call dope today is whack, I'm sorry. I'm raw, sushi style, I spit the wasabi. I'm at the corner store, gas station, shop and go. Where these other rappers really be at, I don't know. But everywhere I cruise at, people want the boom bap, and we ain't taking nothing from no new cats. But KRS-One, I come from where your shoes at, where your soul at. This that real street music. Who's that? The master with the blast. I don't write songs for cash, I write songs that last. They call me the teacher, cause I'm from a different class. I preserve hip-hop, hurt, bam, flash. These are the true kings, these are the greatest. These youngins claiming king and ain't even made this. When the true king touched down, you know it. No talk, no hype, just skills and we show it. Duty is called, I'm leaving you once more. I will be back, right back when I'm off on the tour. The tour is raw, duty is called for the raw, and the raw one is me. It's me, you see. All of them told me, Chris, you're too old me. When they step to the mic, none of them can hold me.
Welcome to JetPropulsionLyrics.com. Sitting here with my man, DJ Big C.H.U.D.
Yes, sir.
And as you know, in this series, we've been talking to people about WHBK and hip hop and the effect it had on their lives and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, what's your first memory of WHBK?
You know what? I find that question funny. And the reason I find that question so funny is because I listened to some of your previous podcasts.
Okay.
And I think everybody got the same freaking story on the South Side. And my story when I was listening to the podcast was like the same story that I heard on previous podcasts. I was up late at night looking for KKC to listen to the house mixes, and I went over a little bit too far. Okay. And I was like, whoa, what's this? You know what I'm saying? And it's funny, though, but that's what honestly happened. I was up late. I wanted to listen to KKC. I ended up flipping a little bit too far. I heard this raw hip hop and the unedited versions, and I stayed there, and I've been a fan ever since.
Definitely. And so even before that, though, you
No, hip hop has been my life. That's my first experience with WHBK.
On the radio,
hearing it on the radio, like that's how I found HBK. But like hip hop for me goes way before that. It was just so happened that's how I discovered HBK, and it's been like a staple in my life ever since. You know, like my first radio experience with hip hop was actually WNUR, which is up north. A partner of mine, I live in Altgeld Gardens. Okay. A partner of mine lived in Evanston, but he would spend the weekends at his mom's house. Okay. So he would record the NUR shows and bring us the tapes every weekend, and we would just sit and listen to like hip hop all weekend and then to the next weekend. And so when I found HBK, I was like, Now I ain't got to wait for him to bring tapes no more. I could listen to hip hop myself. So yeah, it goes way back, you know.
So in Altgeld Gardens, you know, listening to HBK, did you like turn other people onto it? Or?
Yeah, definitely, because it was funny because hip hop, I was like growing up in Altgeld Gardens, you know, and especially being in Chicago. Chicago is all about house music. We just quote unquote house capital of the world. So actually me loving hip hop and listening to hip hop, I was the weirdo out the bunch. Like, dude, you listening to the rap stuff, you know? And I'm like, no, this is where it's at. So I put up a lot of people on hip hop. Like, you know, my sister, you know, she used to like poke fun at me for listening to rap music, and then like I taught her the lyrics to Karis One's poetry. I'll never forget, she was sitting down and we wrote it out and I taught her how to rap it, and she was like, okay, this hip hop is kind of cool, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was just like I did try to put people up on it, you know, before it became like, before KKC got their rap show and GCI got their rap show. It was HBK, NUR, CRX, you know, that was like your hip hop, that was it.
Yeah, cause NUR had the Street Beat show.
Yeah.
And on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when I found HBK, that's when, you know, it kind of cemented for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you know, before we was listening to Bambaataa,
Mm-hmm.
the Sugar Hill Gang, Run DMC.
Right.
But with HBK was that underground rawness.
Right, exactly. You know, and that's what I'm saying. I was already up on that because, like I said, my man Bill would come to the Gardens every weekend with these NUR tapes. So it was like, and I never forget, because it was like, we wanted to go to his house on the weekend so we could listen to it live. Let's stop waiting on these tapes. I want to hear hip hop live, you know. But yeah, but so HBK was like, I'm finally getting it out the tap now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting my beer off tap now. You know, so it was love. You know, finally.
So what were some of the first DJs you heard on HBK?
Actually, it was J.P.Chill and Chili Q. Those are the two that come to mind first. And it was like crazy because I didn't know that J.P.Chill was a white dude.
No.
As crazy as it sounds, because he got the geeky voice and the whole nine, but I was like, it's hip hop, it got to be black. And I remember being at a concert where they brought J.P.Chill on stage as a host, and I was like, oh my God, he's a white dude. But I was a little naive for not figuring it out before. But yeah, I remember J.P.Chill and Chili Q.
Yeah. And their styles were different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, each DJ had a different kind of style, how they set their show up.
Right.
You know, because I was talking to somebody earlier, and they was talking about how Chili Q would play the whole album, and they would just sit there and wait because they know Chili Q.
But you know what? That's what was the rawest thing about HPK, is that it was unformatted. There was no format, so the DJs were able to bring their part, their personality to their radio show. Whereas, like, you know, I found out later in the years, like, people that were on GCI or KKC, when they were like not on the air and just had music playing, they would turn and listen to HPK. You know what I'm saying? And I found it out. Like, dude was like, no, they listening to y'all. And it was like funny because HPK was unformatted. So your show and Chili Q show was going to be different because y'all brought you know, like, you would play more Cool Keith, you know what I'm saying, like things that the other, but you were able to do that, you know. That's what's so raw about it.
So listening to HBK, and as you as a DJ and a producer, how did that affect your musical style?
It let me hear some of the rawest untapped talent. Like, you know, like when you listen to the mainstream radio, everything got to be so polished, everything got to be so in order, everything got to be song formatted, everything. But when you listen to HBK, you heard rawness. If that's what that a producer felt, then do it. Don't let it be so scripted. So that inspired me, like in my production, like because everybody was telling me to clean my stuff up and make it more polished. And so to hear other artists and aspiring producers have an unpolished sound and still get recognition was inspiring to me. Like, yeah, I can do this. It's a spot out here for me, you know?
Yeah. And so, like, go back to what you said. When you first heard BDP on HBK, you know, that style of production was a switch from what we was hearing before.
But, you know, really, and that's another funny thing about it, because, like, listening to previous podcasts on, you know, BDP wasn't even the draw necessarily. It was like, who is this NWA and this Ice-T and all this cursing and all this, you know what I'm saying? Like, they playing that on the radio and you giggling to yourself. So that was the draw. And then I got like, you know, I would hit more of that stuff. But like, really, like, to me, when it comes to unpolished production, even though BDP had it, it was Public Enemy. It was the Bomb Squad. It was Bomb Squad. And it's like, if most of their production came up off mistakes and they just kept them. And I was like, man, that's cold. You know, so really it was like the Bomb. It was the Bomb Squad. You know, they gave birth to that. Okay, it was a mistake, but keep it. You know, they gave birth to that era. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to turn this noise into some music. And
that's what it was for the most part. It'd be a noise, and they'd be like, and you know, and I've heard interviews where they'd be like, we wasn't even trying to sample that part, and it was an accident, but when we played it back, we like, oh yeah, keep that. You know what I'm saying? And that was like real cool, you know.
So with that, you know, keeping that gritty and, you know, not necessarily going that formula route of, you know, clean everything up, make sure your drums are clean, you know, the vocals are a little dirty and stuff like that. You know, that was, for me, that was the draw also.
That was the draw. That was the draw.
Hearing Schoolie D was just like, dude is like, you know.
Right, hearing PSK on the radio, like, where they do that at? You know, that was, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the original draw was this profanity and this, you know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, the first time I heard Dope Man was on WHBK. So, I mean, HBK was playing some Ice-T 6 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, shoot, they playing this on the radio. So, like, that was the draw. And then I would hear some Lord Finesse and, you know what I'm saying, some Public Enemy, Boogie Down Production. I'm like, and they playing some real stuff. You know, like, for me, definitively, like, the first time I heard Just Ice's Way Back, I was like, it's a wrap. I'm hip hop for life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that song just like, that sealed the deal for me in this whole hip hop thing. You know what I'm saying?
And those records are able to transport you from the Altgeld Gardens to the South Bronx of New York.
Exactly.
To Philly.
Exactly. It was Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Compton.
wherever, Too Short, whatever they were playing, you left the city and you took a trip. And you would listen to this show and you would go around the country virtually, you know, mainly New York, but then you would take a little trip down, you know, South Central Los Angeles or Oakland, or, you know what I'm saying, Compton. But it was evenly balanced, like you heard a little everything. So
definitely. So then you hearing this music throughout the years, you working on your production, you working with your MCs, yourself, and then you cross paths with me.
Right. And that was funny though, because I was introduced to you. I'm sure you know the story, but I'll share with everybody. I was introduced to you back then. His name was Mastermind. Okay. He go by Trey from Block 19. But it's Quiet Storm, whatever his name was at the time. But he was, you know, we grew up together. We used to always battle each other in the gardens. And then I had a showcase coming up, and he's like, yo, I can get you on HBK. And I'm like, dude, can you do that for real? Like, he like, I know somebody at HBK. And it was like, I'm thinking like, wow, I always want to be on HBK. Okay. And so he called you up and we went down to the station and we did an interview. And it was kind of awkward in the sense that I love him to life. Okay. And we have this relationship where we break up to make up. Like, we clash, but that's my brother. I love him. And then we back cool again. Then we clash. And this was like right before one of our clashes. Now I'm finally down here at HBK. And then me and him break up again. And it's like, but I need to be back on the air. Dude ain't gonna rock with me because Storm brought me down here. So, but it was love, because the first time I called you and reached out to you independently, it wasn't like, well, no, you know, where's Storm at, you know, whatever. It's like, no, come on down. I got you, bro. I'm going to take care of you. And to me, that was the most genuine thing about us hooking up, was that it was through a third party, but when that third party wasn't there, I didn't get fronted on. I thought I was probably going to get fronted on because the third party was gone, but it was still all love at that point.
So, yeah, definitely, you know, but see, my thing was, you know, that open door policy, you know, where artists, you know, listeners want to come hang out, come hang out.
But you know, and that's true. But you also know, like, sometimes it go down like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I met you through so and so. They're not here. You know, and they, you know, because sometimes you got a loyalty to certain people. You know, like it was V Extreme, Skunk Crew, blah blah
Right.
blah. The whole, you know, that whole camp, King James, that whole camp. So
Right.
it's like, now that they ain't cool, would I be
Yeah.
dissing them if I let him come hang out at the last? I mean, and I'm saying
Yeah.
you totally showed me that that wasn't true, and that's where the genuine love came from. Because it was like, man, dude, really cool. Because he's not set tripping, for a lack of a better word. Like, no, I'm cool with them. I can't be cool with you no more. You know, so
Right.
that was kind of cool. That was love to me. That was genuine.
And that's the thing though, because now that like I'm talking to more people, doing these more podcasts with people with these episodes, it's like a loose configuration in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a loose alliances here that tie into here. You know, Skunk Crew with
Right.
Black School, East of the Rock with, you know, Chud music and stuff like this. And the Southside, that's what HBK was, in a
Right.
sense, was that the Southside had this thing that nobody else really had. Even though other stations were up north and out west or whatever,
Right.
it was HBK
They didn't have
that,
they didn't have what HBK had, and I can't honestly say that as far as that open door policy. Come on in, let's build, let's play these local artists, let's get these, you know, because like even like with NUR, CRX, even though they was playing a raw, uncut hip hop, they wasn't playing like local artists like HBK. Like, I can give you this tape
Right.
and you gonna play it for me. They wasn't doing
we could
that.
get it played immediately.
Immediately, like
You
walk
know,
in.
you going on.
I'm riding down the street. I'm near the station. Hey, Collapse, can I come up? Yeah, come on up. You know, it was that. You know, you didn't get that from those other stations, but you did get that introduction to hip hop and what was raw hip hop, but it was from other places. HBK kind of brought it on home. You know, like you say, V Extreme moved to do some great things. He got his start at HBK. Kanye West got his first spins at HBK. You know what I'm saying?
No ID.
No ID got his first spins at HBK.
Twilight
You know,
Tone.
I remember what Quicksilver Cooley.
Definitely.
What's the other name? Jarista's guy, Soundmaster T.
yes.
You know, so it's like the names go on and on. Like, their humble beginnings started
On the
right
south
there
side.
at the south side. You know what I'm saying? And Soundmaster T is from out west, right?
Yeah,
But, you know,
I
his
believe
humble
so.
beginnings is HBK. You know, so that's high.
You know, and that's why I say it seemed like it holds a special place in the heart of hip hop in Chicago, because you had people even coming from up north, out
Right,
west,
right,
you know, far out south, you know,
right.
you know, and
Like I say, Altgeld Gardens, we was in the hundreds, the hundreds. You know what I'm saying? And we was rocking with HBK. You know, so that was cool. You know, it's like almost surreal to know that I'm able to go up here and get my music played here after being quote unquote fan of the station for so long in the rap shows. And here I'm sitting in the studio where, you know what I'm saying, most of the like underground hip hop, when Karis One and all these people were underground, they were coming through HBK, and I'm sitting in the same place that Kool Keith sat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. That was kind of cool. That was surreal.
And so then, you know, getting your music played on HBK, then me and you hooking up,
Right.
and then, you know, I asked you for a favor
Mm-hmm.
where you did a commercial, did some commercials and intros for me.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Like at that point, and like I said, you know, it goes back to real recognizing real. So it's like when I saw how real you were and not fronting on me, and it's at that point, wasn't nothing you can ask me for I wouldn't do, because I was like, you know, you want to keep those people around you that's just real, that's not out for something, trying to get something. Like I said, you know, it could have been easy for you to just cut me off at the kneecaps, like, you know, I'm good, bro, you know, I'm just gonna keep, you know. But it was like, at that point, it was so genuine. It was like, yeah, come on by the lab, you know, we're gonna do a commercial, whatever. And it was dope, and it was challenging, because, like, you know, you would give me a record, not even ever hearing a record before. You just look at the title, like, I like this title, sample this and make a commercial. I don't even know what record it is, and I would sample it, and it'd come out to be a dope beat. But it was like a challenge to me as a producer, like, can you really take anything and make a dope track out of it? So it was kind of therapeutic for myself as well, because you just look at the title. I remember one day, I'll never forget, You pulled out a Willie Nelson album. What I'm doing with Willie Nelson, I still don't know. But you put out I like the name of this song. Sample that and make a track out of it. And I'm down there sampling and making it, and it came out hot. You know what I'm saying? It was fun. It was fun.
And this was before, they started doing this record roulette. No disrespect to them, but I did it first.
I can attest to it because I swear I'll be like, what is he on? Because I'd be like, did he hear that record before? No, I just like the name of it. Can you sample it and make a track out of it? And I'd be like, okay, let me see what I can do. And
it was dope. And anybody who listened to the show and heard these things, it changed the game in Chicago in terms of, at least in my eyes, it changed because people had to step up their production.
Mm-hmm.
Before, people was messing around with the 4 tracks and whatnot. And, they go into the studio and, you spending $20 an hour.
Right. Back then it was like $20 an hour, and that wasn't easy to combat back then.
Wasn't these computers and, laptops and stuff like that. And then you could see people like, man, I need to step up my production. My stuff ain't sounding like that. And, and that's one thing that I liked about your work. Your product was that the sound quality was dope.
I appreciate that.
And me doing the show and people handing me tapes and CDs, and it's like you could hear the difference.
Mm-hmm.
In a producer and in the production, and that's what I
appreciate that.
Gravitated towards. I'm like, I gotta. Gotta stick with this dude.
I appreciate that. And like I say, it was all real because, I remember, but, I appreciate everybody that I met during my time down at HPK. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even, like I said, I appreciate Storm, Mastermind, Trey from Block 1 for introducing us. I still connect with him. He's still my brother. Like I said, we I think we too much alike, and me and this man is like, we think we brothers in real life. So I'm honestly like, we think we brothers in real life. So we break up the makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like we have our little sibling rivalries and it goes on. But he introduced me to something. I met a lot of great people. I mean, like even like I'll say a name you probably like laugh at, but like even like a Infinito. You know what I'm saying? Just people that were there, part of that whole movement. Good, the bad, and the ugly. It's love,
Definitely. And what's crazy is that today I was interviewing my man Reggie Vader, and he's working with TMC.
Okay. And so TMC still, that's another.
And I know TMC from working with you.
Yeah, Altgeld Gardens.
Altgeld Gardens, and and I just like the Chicago hip-hop community is really a small pool.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it.
If you're talking about hip-hop. If you're talking about hip-hop, it's a small pool. It's the rap pool and then it's the hip-hop pool. And if you're talking about hip-hop, you can't go into certain circles without mentioning certain names and then find out it was only 6 degrees of separation that separated you from somebody because, even though y'all probably never met, y'all knew the same people. Like it was a network,
Definitely. And, like I said, I enjoyed my time down at HPK, and it was a blessing meeting you, the whole Chud music family.
All stars.
It
was funny because like when we first met, I went down there, we did a couple of interviews. We in '98 we put out Bases Loaded Bottom of the Ninth.
Exactly.
I actually included one of the the outro to the CD is you and us and freestyling on HPK. You know what I'm saying? So it was like just that quick. You had made the album. You know what I'm saying? Like we had really just met, but already you had made the album. And that was like big. That was a big thing in my life, was putting that album out, Bases Loaded Bottom of the Ninth. It was huge for me. It was the first thing I ever done as a record label producer. So and then you're a part of that.
Exactly.
So it just show how quick it progressed.
And as the years progress, it's just like these memories, these stories are forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things. The legacy, I think, is that is there. You know,
Right.
and these things need to be taught to the ones coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a lot of them don't have that foundation.
True
they don't have
indeed.
that access to walk into a station and get.
Can they even still do that at HBK? Like,
Probably not.
I mean,
No.
like, it's
You
probably like not even that no more.
You
know what I'm
gotta,
saying?
you know, gotta.
That was a
Make an
precious
appointment.
time. You know, that was a precious time where I could just call and say, hey, I'm riding down 57. Can I come up? You know, you can't do that. You know, you definitely couldn't do that at any other radio stations, like including KKC, which was a college radio station. Now, I've had the opportunity to be on KKC quite a few times, but
Okay.
trust me, it wasn't, hey, I'm in the area. Can I fall through? You know, yeah, come on up. I got some drink too. Yeah, come on, bring the drink. You know, it's like,
Hey, remember, it was a couple of times where I gave you the keys to the office.
right, like,
Cause I stuck at work.
come on up, you know. And I had to sit there and listen to Arkansas Red, you know what I'm saying? I got mad. Shout out to Arkansas Red,
Definitely.
who used to do the show before you, because it was funny. Because did he have like, you know, we keeping it raw and real, but did he have like religious beliefs that prohibit him from wearing deodorant or something? Or,
I don't know.
Because I mean, we would get up there and there would be like Jewtown Polishes and
I think he was a Muslim.
yeah, I know it had to be. I think it was something spiritual going on where he couldn't wear like deodorant, and like we get up to the station and it's like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? But he was coolest cat. I don't mean that with no malice.
Yeah,
He was the coolest cat ever. You know what I'm saying?
Arkansas Red, yeah,
Arkansas
he-
Red,
you know, and
and
if you
Valerie, because he always talked to Valerie on the phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he went back to Arkansas. He on a station down there.
Mm-hmm.
You got y'all look him up, Arkansas Red on YouTube. You'll find him.
Yeah, he's just cool
You know.
cat though.
And definitely, but you know, like I say, you know, near the end of my run at HBK, you know, you became a key component,
Appreciate it.
you know, in the machinery,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I appreciate you for that, you know,
Thank
stepping
you.
up and helping me
No,
out.
I just want to show the love back, the love that I was showed. I want to give it back. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mean, I never forget. Like, I could bring any of my songs and I just recorded this. Can I play this tonight? And I can get songs played that I wasn't even sure how they sounded yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming down. I probably was the only artist. I don't know, but I probably was the only artist coming down there with DATs. Like, yeah, I got you. I just recorded this on DAT. You know, they bringing tapes and CDs. I got DATs. Come on, can I play this real quick? And you be like, wait, let me see if the DAT machine is hooked up. You know, that's just
Roll
genuine.
with that, you know, and you know, get put on after a KRS song, get put on after Ice-T song
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So it's definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, those are some excellent times, you know, and it helped me grow as a producer, as an artist, as working with artists and networking. So it was a great time for me to just say I was involved in something that had the pride of the South Side. You know, I was involved with that. You know, that's a blessing to me. You know,
Definitely. So where can people find you at now?
you can't. No, I'm just playing. You know, I'm not in the social media. I don't do social media.